The second main question is about the throughput time in the dataset. To check the total throughput time, we can see it in the Discovery tab on the Throughput Time window. We can also check other statistics by clicking on the average icon at the top right. The temporal statistics above can give us a helicopter view of the performance in the purchasing datasets. We can see that on average, the whole purchasing process takes up to 2 months. Ideally, we want to cut the case duration to improve efficiency. This filter could also allow us to retain cases with a specific duration range. For example, we can retain cases with the longest case duration and see the bottleneck. We can also check the throughput time between each activity in each variant. To do that, we can click the eye icon in the top left of the Process Explorer window. We can see the amount of waiting time between each activity. We can see from record invoice receipt to clear invoice, it takes almost 37 days of waiting time on average. This is an example of a bottleneck. A bottleneck worsens or delays the process or its performance, increasing the cycle time or even bringing the process to a complete standstill. We will use throughput time more later on in the next question. We can also observe the median by clicking the clock icon in the top left. We can see the average and median value of the throughput time and the case frequency between each activity node. The next question is to look at variants that are non-ideal for the business. We can see that the variants highlighted in green are the ideal ones, but the variants highlighted in red are non-ideal. These extraneous variants are costing the business in terms of wasted effort and employee productivity. Variant 3 and 5 have one additional activity: remove payment block. This activity shouldn't exist in this category, since the invoice is only received after the goods have been received. Therefore, there is no need to block any payment in the first place. To see how severe this impacts the process, let's go back to the Process Explorer. We can see that on average, activity between remove payment block and clear invoice takes up to a month, even though this activity is not needed at all. This could potentially affect the relationship between our vendors for the late payment. Variant 4 ended with delete purchase order item. This means that the purchase order case is cancelled due to a reason. This is a form of waste within the business process and should be minimized. We can check the time waste for this variant in Process Explorer. Variant 0 and Variant 1 are the only ones that conform with the process model, green box. We can see the details in the Process Explorer of these two variants. There are 1,587 cases, or around 61% of the total cases of the 3WAY matching, invoice after goods receipt category. Variant 2 is ongoing cases, since there are only 2 activities: create purchase order and record goods receipt. We can dismiss this variant, as we can't evaluate ongoing cases. A deviation in process flows is the incorrect order of activities, like in the displayed variant, where the vendor create invoice activity is done first before create purchase order. This flow shouldn't exist, since every purchase should be started with a purchase order. Same as previous category, this could indicate fraud, where the purchasing shouldn't happen to begin with, but since there's an incoming invoice, the system record it. The category we will examine is consignment. We can also see in Variant 5 that there are cases with a rework in the record goods receipt activity. We can see the detail in Process Explorer. The rework extends the case duration up to 5 additional days. This could be improved with better scheduling from vendors and warehouses.